right now, I'm like, this is like a dream come true. We're talking, no, honestly, and I don't say that lightly. We're talking about Black beauty on a podcast at Sherlock. We're with Charlotte Mensah, the font of Black beauty in the UK.
Literally.
Like sometimes sitting back and being like, wow, this is really cool.
Hello and welcome to the Sherlock's podcast with me, Rhea Cartwright. I am joined today by Sherlock's very own Sherri Andrews, lifestyle editor, and the chief heiress of black hair herself, award-winning hairstylist, best-selling author, baker, mother, friend, Charlotte Mensah. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Hi. Charlotte, I feel like we need to start with you. You've got over 20 years of experience. As I said, you have got your own line, which is doing phenomenally well. You've got the Hair Lounge in Portobello. You've got a book. You make cakes, also, which I feel like is award-winning at this point. Tell us, let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Why hair?
Do you know what? I never, ever thought I was going to be a hairdresser. Growing up, I, lived in Accra with my grandparents. So I was born in London. I left at the age of 3 months to live with my grandparents, mainly because they had just they moved to the UK in 1962, and I was the sixth child they had in 1970. And it was just very difficult to have the space. Also, they both worked around the clock. And at the time, they were advised to either send me off to foster parents or...
They were advised to do that?
Yeah, with friends. Some friends were sending their kids off out of London.
Wow.
So basically, they would, send the kids off for maybe a month. And then at the end of the month, and my mum was very close to her own mother. So she had obviously spoken to my grandma, and the grandma said, just bring her back to Accra. So here I go at the age of 3 months in a Moses basket with a hair hostess. Can you imagine just handing your child over?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So no one flew with you?
I think it was a family friend, but it was really
wow.
Yeah. So I arrive in Accra, 3 months old. Grandma and grandfather, they were all over me. I was the child that came in a Moses basket. Aww. We were the only family that had a house, in the area. So it was a developing area. So it was just almost like a novelty and a bit of a celebration when I arrived. So my grandfather would literally take me everywhere. My grandma was this woman who just could do everything. She could do hair. She had a big clay oven. She used to bake all these cakes and breads and biscuits.
That's where the cakes came from.
And the thing is, she had 8 children. All her 8 children had lots of children as well. So there was close to about 47 of us.
47?
That lived in this house. So it was a massive compound house, they called it. So all the rooms were at the back. And then in the middle of the house was where all the cooking, the washing, all the everyday chores took place. Mm-hmm. So growing up, I had a very, very atmospheric, it was very joyful. Grandma was a very prayerful woman. We never went to the doctors. She would just pray on some water or put some oil on our foreheads.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you had a headache, within 15 minutes, it disappeared. So I grew up around a very powerful woman who had lots of skills. Literally, she would buy fabrics, make our clothes. It was just an amazing place to be. And then there was this law that you had to get back to the UK if you're born here before the age of 16. So then my mum and dad said, look, 11 years, before Charlotte gets to 11, could she come back? So I was excited. I'm I'm going to London. Never really lived with my mum before. I mean, she'd been to Ghana to see us on holiday, but never had the any experience of mother and daughter. I'd always had grandmother and aunties, cousins. So I was really excited, got to London, and honestly, I think it was the worst thing that happened to me in London because I just could not believe how different the two places were. Yeah. It was really cold. It was November. Everybody was walking very fast. Nobody smiled at anyone. And I was I'm coming from a place where all you see is smiles and atmosphere. And there's this place that is just, it looks like everyone's in a hurry. So anyway, I joined my mum. It was a very different kind of home because she was now divorced, lived in a flats in Stonebridge. It was quite isolated.
Yeah.
So I was used to the atmosphere in Ghana with the playing, the kids, arguing.
A lot of community.
A lot of community.
For me, when you were mentioning the house, to me, I hear community.
Yeah, connection.
A compound, 47, 48
yeah,
people.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but it was still very organised. It wasn't, because whenever I tell the story, everyone's like, oh, it must have been tough. I said, no, it was actually...
blissful.
It was the best thing. We played together, we shared, we connected. It was it was really, really nice. And then January came, I started school, green uniform, short hair, dark skin. Walked into the school, and everybody was laughing. They were like, oh, you're African, you boo-boo.
Were you the only black child in the school?
No, it was actually in Wembley.
Oh, okay.
It was
mixed.
It was actually a lot of kids from everywhere, Jamaica, Barbados. But there was this real sort of segregation between West Indians and Africans. It was like, I just thought everybody was the same, because growing up in Ghana, I never really experienced any kind of racism, because you never describe someone by their colour. You just said, this is Mr. Mensah or Mrs. Smith or whatever. You never said the black woman or this. You just knew someone as the doctor, the lawyer. You never ever sort of... So I didn't have any inclination that there's some sort of dispute or disagreement between... So I just thought everybody was like me, and I just couldn't believe it. And I used to think, why didn't anyone want to be my friend? Why didn't they want to play with me? Literally, I was shouted at, you're stupid, I got spat on. Honestly, it was horrendous.
Wow. To hear that was in the 70s. No, that must have been the 80s.
Early 80s, yeah.
And you were a child.
Yes.
Is, I think when people talk about racism and lack of racism, and I'm like, there is still quite a lot of stuff. I mean, the 80s is very recent.
It's
we're not talking about the 1800s, the 1980s.
30, 40 years ago, And all I kept saying to my mum when I go home is like, please, can you just buy me a ticket? I just want to go back to Ghana. I felt I had so much love. I have so much friends there as well that just like me for me. I didn't have to be anything. But this school was very much like all the kids had like cornrows, relaxed hair, beads, long hair to their shoulder. And my hair, I swear to God, it was about, you would call it teeny weeny afro right now. It was like 2 inches long, because in Ghana, there was this policy that everybody had to have their hair short. Because they wanted us to focus on our schoolwork and not on vanity. So the boy and the girl, everybody had the same hair. So all of us had short hair. There was no long hair. So I was like, Mum, I have to at least try and look like some of these girls, because... So she then said, okay, the only other way is to maybe start threading your hair.
Do you know what? Let's explain for people at home, maybe don't know what threading, I know what it means because I've heard you speak about it a lot, but I feel like people are going to hear threading and think of eyebrow threading.
Yes.
Can you just explain what hair threading that you're talking
so
about
hair threading is like a type of braiding, but you're using cotton thread to section the hair and just twist the hair around from the roots to the end. And you can bend them in different shapes. I remember getting my hair threaded and getting bullied. And then in 2017, I did the same hairstyle for Erykah Badu. And it literally went viral. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're amazing. But I remember having to go through so much pain. I mean, I was literally picked up by 3 students when I walked into the classroom because my mum had styled it in a way that it looked like hooks. And these 3 boys picked me up and said, oh, we're going to hang you on the ceiling. So they tried to literally,
God.
I mean, I've heard some of these stories, before, and I'm never not shocked. Obviously, I know, kids, even kids of today, kids are mean, doesn't matter what gender, kids can be really mean. But how, when you look back on that time now, and especially for me, when you said about when you had the threads versus then when doing it for Erykah Badu, which is just insane, and that kind of full circle moment, do you kind of feel like, is that a cathartic experience, or is there pain when you're then still, is there pain, do you still hold any of that pain when you're doing certain things now, or is it?
Not really, because I feel like I've worked on myself so much as well, especially coming from that home from my grandmother, because we were a very spiritual family and we believed in prayer and fasting. And so I had a lot of, how can I put it? I had a lot of maybe tools, I should say, even though I went through all of that. People would meet me and say, God, you're so you're so grounded. You're so like, you're so free from all of it. But I feel like I'm, every day it's like, I'm doing hair. There's someone in my chair and I can feel them. I can see their pain. And so it's almost like, even though I had no idea I was going to be a hairdresser, the whole journey, it's like it was ordained that way. Do you know what I mean? Because I was literally, pushed to the ground and suffered for having short hair and bullied. My schoolwork really suffered. So I kind of lean more towards the creatives. Like, I mean, when I was in Ghana, I was so brilliant, so good at math, so good at English. I was like the best in my class for everything. But the kind of trauma that happened at that 13 was just so, I can't even describe what it is, but it was hard.
I mean, like, who cares about Pythagoras theorem when you're going through like real life trauma?
Yeah.
And I think, even at school, like, people say, oh, you're so sad today. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm all right. And a friend of mine had said that there's this amazing salon in the West End called Splinters, and she's going for the apprenticeship. So then it made me think, it sounded like the kind of atmosphere that was missing from Ghana. So then I thought, oh, that could be a good place for me. So then I put my name, when the careers officer came at the age of 15, I put my name down as well. And I said, I think I want to go to this place too, because she seemed so happy. She was a year older than me, and, she'll come back to the school and like meet us and say, oh, I had a really good day. So-and-so came in, they were playing this music. So I was like, I want to go there. So I applied, and then I got the interview. And that very day I went for my interview. I think Winston, the owner, Winston Isaacs, I mean, Splinters was like the first black salon to open in the UK.
Wow.
The way he opened the door, even just coming out of Oxford Circus Station, walking down Regent Street, going to this 5-star salon was like something that you saw in a movie. So it was like, oh my God, this is like, didn't even think I could be in a place like this. So when the door opened, and he's such a lovely man, he said, oh, Charlotte, you're from Ghana? I said, yeah. And he was saying, tell me a bit about yourselves. And I told him about my mum passing away. And I think he just said, I need to give this girl this job, And Splinters was that place, that was that atmosphere. It had 3 floors. It was like 30 stylists, lots of juniors. And it was that busy sort of compound houses. Like, it reminded me of that again. Yeah. And then, the fact that there was all of these sort of celebrities like Diana Ross, Janet Jackson, like literally everybody will come to this salon.
Oh my gosh, so mad to me that when I hear stories about Splinters, and that was decades ago, and we don't have anything like that again now to that scale.
Yes,
is crazy in that area at that scale with celebrities going. We don't have anything like that now.
It was just so refreshing to see like all of this amazing black excellence that would come in. They were all running their own businesses, or they've flown in. People flew in from everywhere, Nigeria, America. So it was like, it gave me back that sense of community that I was yearning for. And then also I got to attend London College of Fashion, which was just down the road. And that was at the time of Stella McCartney, Alexandra McQueen. So it was such a good time. This was 86 to 88.
For black creatives now within hair, I know obviously you care a lot about education and mentorship for people in hair and not just hair. Do you think opportunities are there now, or you think it's a little bit harder? Has social media helped? Is it hindered?
Yeah.
How do you think?
I feel like it's a yes and no, because I think there is lots of opportunities out there, but you kind of have to create your own, because I feel like there's so much copy and pasting.
Yeah.
So everybody's doing the same thing. Everyone's bringing out a brand. Everywhere you look, it's just so overly saturated. The poor consumer is like a junkie. They don't even know what they're doing anymore, because it's like, there's about 50 million shampoos.
Yeah.
It's a cleaning agent. You only need one. You just need your hair clean, right? But I feel young people right now just need to really tap into like who they are and the message that they have for the world, rather than just looking at Joy's work and thinking, oh, she's got this thing, I want to do the same thing. You don't know what's behind it. You don't know how they got there. I feel it should be more that, rather than just, oh, I'm bringing out a brand because I can't find something for my hair. There's so much opportunities. I travel a lot back and forth to Ghana. even other parts of Africa. There's so much happening. You just need to really find what it is that you want to do and learn, you know, and it's a process. So take your time, have patience. And maybe if you do want to bring out a brand, maybe bring out one product, see how that works. Does it need a bit of tweaking? Does it work? Do a tester instead of bringing out so many.
That's such a good point. I remember Bobby Brown said that recently, you know, so a lot of people ask her, well, how do you start a brand? Like, how do you have the capital to start a brand? And she was like, you don't need much. You can start with one product.
Exactly.
But people would think that you have to start with
loads.
10 or 20, like depending on it. It's just like, start with one really good one. Like, become known for that. I think you're right. I mean, people just, they're a brand. Well, obviously, I see it in my job a lot. Just brands every day. Like, I can get 20 brand emails a day. And it's like, we don't actually need all of this.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a red flag as well. If there's so much, it's like, what do I actually need?
And I think it looks easy, you know, when you're there posting or, I just want to announce that I've done this and done that. It looks really, but only that person knows what they're going through. Only that person who has the brand, who has the business, know how hard it is.
Talk to us about Hair Lounge. When was it when you opened the salon?
So I opened a salon in 1999. So before that, after my training, I worked for a few salons. I rented a chair in a European salon. So that's how I built my clientele. And then someone told me about the Princess Trust. So I went to the Princess Trust and they helped me to put a business plan together. And I was awarded a grant and a soft loan. So I was able to open my first salon at the age of 29.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was quite a lot because I really wanted to shop on the high street. And I remember going through all of those Portobello Road, Ladbroke Grove, Westbourne Grove. And I'll see the number and they'll say to let, and I'll ring up and they'll say, so sorry, it's gone. And I'll walk past again a week later and the sign is still up. So can you imagine that I had to literally get a white friend to ring up for the salon that I'm in now?
Wow.
Yeah. So my first salon was actually in a business centre. I didn't even have a shop front because I could not find a shop anywhere. Nobody wanted to give me the space. They're like, but I said, I have a business plan. I already had
and you had money.
Rented a chair.
Yeah.
I've already got my own savings. I have the grant. I have
That's
black
crazy.
business.
And this is in 99. Like, this is so recent.
So from about 97 to 99, I was looking for a space.
Oh, God.
And so it was just like going around in circles. So in the end, I saw this business centre. I just came back from Italy on a holiday and then someone just said to me, go in there and ask. There's a unit in there for you. So I literally took a shop unit that was next to a guy that made belts. So I wasn't even supposed to be in. It was quite industrial.
Where was that?
Kilburn Park Road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I turned that unit into a salon. And then from there, the 50 clients grew over like a period of a year and a half to like over 500.
Oh, wow. Goodness.
Yeah. So then I moved to the salon that I'm in now on Portobello.
Which is a great,
And
it's
you've
such
got
a good location. Have you been?
Oh, we've got to get you in.
I have to come in.
Yeah, we're launching the Salt Scrub soon, so hopefully, fingers crossed,
that sounds
we'll
lovely.
get you in.
It's such a good, and I feel like, you know, hearing all the, like, for me, it's like the threads of how community is so tied into your life. And then where the salon is now is like people will just come by and just come and chat to you and wave. And
It's so nice. It's an amazing space because it's a space where you'll have like a super, super Hollywood star next to the young girl who just works in retail, who just, you know, saved up her money and wants to get her hair done, but all having a conversation together. And I think that is so nice. And you've had people that have had references written by maybe a top lawyer who sat next to them because they need to get... It's been...
That's so
I feel like it's a bit... It kind of reminds you of Mangrove. You know, the small acts. Where people came in and they need maybe a form filled or someone to help them to do their personal statement. It's like we're all like family.
100. It transcends hairdressers. It's almost like a hairdressers is like not an insult, but it's like it's more than that. It's a
so
cultural hub.
It's really like honestly, Black excellence. And not just Blacks, everyone. I mean, now we've got Asians, we've got Jewish. People just love that warmth, that welcome, you know, because everyone's working so hard. And to go somewhere where people, like, honestly, genuinely receives you with that, you know, it's very rare to find in this day and age.
Definitely.
So, you know, that sharing, the connection, love.
Yeah.
And my mum's name was Love.
Wow.
Yeah, my mum's name was Love. So that's what I named my charity. After.
You've got a charity?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I started that foundation, like, properly 3 years ago during COVID.
Wow.
So I find that so many young people get in touch with me and they just want someone to mentor them, especially in Ghana, because for you to get training, you have to pay. And a lot of them are very talented, but poverty, you get someone 15, they've got 2 kids. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I started a little tree near my house. I just brought all my tools there and we sat outside and we started cutting hair, showing them how to... You know,
it's
just
really
do blow dry.
The power. You know, people say, like, oh, I'd love to do this. And it's like, they've been saying it for years and I've never done it.
Yeah.
And then for you to say that you started a charity because you could see that something needed to be done and just took your hair toolkit in front of a tree and just did it.
Yeah.
There's actually no excuse for people to be like, oh, I'm too busy. Like, we're all busy. But if you care, you get it done.
And I feel like they really inspire me as well, because just seeing all the hardship and all the, you know, all the adversities that they go through, but they're able to turn up. And also I've seen one of them is open a shop. Since we've been doing it, she's opened her own shop.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we just did a documentary for CNN. It's called Changemakers. I'll send you the link. And we went to her store and she was like on her knees, like,
add that to the list.
But yeah, it was amazing.
I feel like the black hair experience in the UK it's improved so much. But I feel like it's something that if you're not black, you don't actually understand that as a concept. So I guess for people listening, not watching at home, we are all different skin tones and types. Like, so Sherri and I are both mixed race, whereas Charlotte is full black. So, but I mean, Sherri, have you grown up with your hair?
I'm lucky that I've got 3 older sisters, and my oldest is actually 20 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
So when I was a baby, she was an adult. So thank goodness I had sisters to show me the products to use, what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
Like, don't straighten your hair, don't use these products.
Did you never straighten yours?
No, not anymore. I actually had a very poignant moment in my life when I threw away my straighteners. I actually threw them down the bin. Sorry, the environment. And I thought, no more. This was maybe like 10 years ago. I'm not doing it because I just feel my most me with my natural curly hair.
Yeah.
So luckily, because I had older sisters, they could show me what to do. My mum is white and doesn't really have any skills with hair, bless her. She tries, but when my older sister was younger, just didn't really know what to do because they had afro hair. My hair's a little bit more fine. So yeah, it's been a journey, but I feel like once I got rid of my straighteners, embraced my natural curls, just thought I don't want to straighten it anymore. But when you're younger, you're like, everyone has a bit of an identity crisis, and you, as you were saying, Charlotte, you want to fit in with everyone around you. Where I was when I was younger, like university, school, everyone was white basically. So you more, I guess, what's the word? You just get more influenced by your surroundings and wanting to fit in. So, but yeah, curly all the way now.
It's interesting because I feel like you've been at the forefront of like the natural hair movement. Because it's just, well, not for you, it's not a movement. You've always been about natural hair. And I guess seeing from when you started to now how societally there's so much more acceptance now is so powerful to know that that's something that you've always been so passionate about and adamant about. And when you kind of look at the way things are now, and I can imagine, for example, I remember myself going to job interviews, like, I don't know, obviously quite a long time ago, but within the last 10 years and like straightening my hair, being like, I want to go to the interview with straight hair because I reckon I'll get perceived, and I do get perceived differently when my hair's straight to curly. But how do you see it in terms of, in your industry, when it's kind of like with covers or red carpet, are people with textured hair now more embracing, or what's it been like?
Yeah, I think it's so much better now. Like, I feel like on the red carpet, in adverts, in billboards, the athletes, entertainment, everywhere, everyone is celebrating, honouring their God-given texture. I think it's a great time. I've never seen so much braids in my life. Even on the way here in the taxi, I was like, literally every woman I've seen has got braids on. It's like in the 90s again.
Yeah, me too.
Have you ever had braids?
I've never had braids, but
you gotta come in.
I have to.
Yeah,
Yes,
we had
I
a little
will.
braid bar carnival, and it was like a queue.
I saw it.
It was like a queue. I was like, wow, everybody wants braid. It was so fun. You know, no one's saying not to blow dry your hair sometimes, but I think it's all about learning to really accept the hair that comes out of you.
Definitely.
And also, like, you know, just learning to maintain it so that it grows and it's healthy, rather than just going against it, and then you end up just abusing it, and then it's hard to grow it.
For sure, there's something around, you know, health over aesthetics, which I feel like is the same with like all parts of beauty.
Yes.
But I think especially in hair, it's so, we were saying this before we started, like it's so intimate. And I feel like as for women, or for, you know, people that present themselves as women, hair is so tied to femininity.
Yes.
So when that is then tied to a Eurocentric standard, it's like, okay, so my hair needs to be long and straight and thick and luscious and shiny, and it ain't none of those things. So like, what are you meant to do?
So
you know,
true.
it's I think it's the health. I think that your focus on hair health has been
so important.
pioneering, really.
Yeah.
I was saying to Sherri before we started that, like, before I met you, obviously, you know, Charlotte, your name is synonymous with black hair and beauty industry. And everyone was like, she's so nice. And I was like, this must be waffle. How can this woman be so nice? Because to be honest, a lot of hairdressers are not. There's a lot of egos, and I can say that. I'm not going to mention names, but there are a lot of egos, especially in hair. So I was thinking, this can't be real. And then I met her, and I was like, oh my God, it's beyond real. So how do you stay grounded? You know, you're a mother, multiple business owner. You travel a lot. You've got more products. You've done a documentary. All of these tenets to your life, and yet you are so calm and so grounded. How do you? I think it's so important that women at home hear that, who are trying to juggle like babies and new jobs and back to work and a social life, stress, exercise. How does Charlotte Mensah do it?
I feel like for me, obviously, my support system is really strong. So I have a really, really good husband. Because I think having a good partner is one important thing that people don't really talk about. You know, their partners, or they're looking for someone who has a lot of money or something. But to me, it's character. Character is really important. Someone who supports you, someone who's not jealous of you. Because so many people I know, they have these partners that are so, oh, you can't do this, you got to do that, you can't. So they're not, you know, they're not able to really be 100% themselves. But my husband's like, he's not even interested in it. He's just like, do whatever, Charlotte, you happy? I come home, you know, you can see that I'm full of joy because I'm always buzzing. Like, I get my energy off people. Also, I'm a very spiritual person. So when I leave my salon and go home, or if I'm on a shoot or I'm away or whatever, I'm very, like, as much as people, I'm quite private. As much as people see that I post stuff and whatever, I'm very, like, who comes to my house, who's around me, I'm very particular. And my family is so important to me. So, like I like to really have a good cookout on Sunday. We all sit down and eat together. My kids sometimes, my husband doesn't like coming out to any of this fancy work stuff, so I'll take my kids with me.
Nice.
So me and my children have this, like, people see and like, are they your children or they're your friends? I'm like, no, there's boundaries there. Listen, they are my children, but friendly with each other. But at the same time, they know I'm their mum. But I think, like, when you're asking about groundedness and just, you know, being this person, I feel like I am very happy with who I am. I accept myself. I find a lot of people in my industry are just, everyone's chasing something that doesn't even exist. And I'm not in a hurry, like, to be this thing or whatever. I'm just happy to just go along with the process. And whatever it is, I'm just grateful to be alive, you know, and doing what I love doing.
I think I really like when you speak about, I guess, the patience and not going slow, because I don't want to say that, but just going at a pace that suits you. And I think that, you know, I'm sure that there'll be loads of people listening, and I can definitely, I know for us, like, we know what it's like in terms of I think maybe it's more for like maybe our generation with social media. It's like, got to do this and it's got to be done yesterday. And you can't just launch. You've got to launch and it be a bestseller. And it's huge. And it's like, why is that even the case? Why can't it not just be, let me just go bit by bit, because progress is still progress, rather than I've got to hit X million in 2 weeks. Like, stressful.
Yeah, it's very stressful, and it comes with a lot of consequences as well. So, like I said, we all need balance. Too much of anything is not good for anyone. Yeah. But like you said, we're not saying to go slow, but you know, you're on your own journey. You're slaying in your own lane. You know, so whatever it takes for you to get to the promised land, or whatever that is for you, that's what it takes. And it's not about looking at what someone's doing over there or what someone's doing on the right hand side. Just look at what you're doing, and every day just be grateful. Like, hey, it's another day for me to have a go and make it better. And I think that's what it's about. And that's kind of been my mantra for since my mum passed away, really, because we've had to look after ourselves. You know, we had aunties and uncles that were supposed to be our guardian, and they were treating us like we had to wait sometimes for them to sleep, for us to put like mats on the floor to sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you've been through that kind of life and you're here, you're like, wow, you know, what can I do? Because, you know, I've had this angel who's literally led me to where I am now. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm really, really winning with what I'm doing. So why do I need to be, I need to be like this person? Or I need to be, I don't.
Yeah, they say comparison is the thief of joy.
Listen, it's so true. It's so true. And you see people like, especially when you do hair, you see people come in and they're so like broken because they're so trying to be like someone else. And you're like, but that's not you. Why are you hanging out with this person trying to, that's not your life. If you want to play with them, maybe play a game when you're out together, but still remain who you are.
Yeah. Sherri, I'm going to ask you the same question in terms of the kind of grounded, because I feel like I like that question. I feel like that's it's important for people to hear that. You know, you're doing a lot here. You know, a lifestyle editor.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, restaurants, books, culture. Amazing. It's travel. So many different kind of verticals. How do you balance that? Because I feel like you're also a very kind of calm, relaxed energy.
I think similar to what Charlotte said, family for me is so important. Friendships, like my core group of girlfriends, like we all have each other's backs. And when I go to them, I know that my cup is half full rather than depleted. Like they re-energize me and we're all very supportive of each other. It's really hard in today's, right now, when you're comparing yourself to like, oh, my friends bought this house or, you know, so-and-so's on this income. And it's like, oh, I'm not quite there, but it doesn't matter because I'm on my own journey, cannot compare. And yeah, just enjoying it, like enjoying the life that, you know, that you have. And I feel like this is getting really deep now. But yeah, no, enjoy the life you have.
We need some depth.
Yeah, exactly. And because life is really hard. It can be, you know, there are times where it's awful. So just being present in those moments where, like right now, I'm like, this is like a dream come true. We're talking, no, honestly, I don't say that lightly. We're talking about Black beauty on a podcast at Sherlock. This is like a mega thing. We're with Charlotte Mensah, the font of Black beauty in the UK. Literally. Like, just sometimes sitting back and being like, wow, this is really cool.
Do you know what? You're actually so right when you said about presence, and there's so much importance. Like, you know, be present, be in the moment, and it's like, what are we doing? We're having a conversation on a sofa, which is going to go out and people can listen to it. But actually, in terms of what are we actually doing? We're having a chat with the icon of black hair globally on the like on a sofa. It just feels like we're just like in one of our houses. But knowing like actually that this maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been a thing. And that progress and that journey, the fact that now to tell these stories, which should always have been amplified. But actually the importance of bringing those stories to life and us hearing different and diverse voices is a big, you're right. Like being present this is a big deal.
Exactly.
Definitely.
We will touch on product because I guess it couldn't really be a Black Beauty podcast without product. Charlotte, you've obviously got your own brand. So outside of your own brand, maybe let's not do hair actually. If anyone doesn't know, she has an award-winning hair care line. It's doing incredibly well. and a scalp scrub coming soon, which we're very excited for. But I know that I remember watching that in the bathroom with Sally Hughes, and that was years ago, like way pre-COVID.
Yes.
And I know that beauty and your rituals are very part of like probably how you stay so relaxed. What are some of your favourite products?
Do you know what? My number one would always be Chantecaille, the rose oil. I've used it for so many years.
No, I used to work for Chantecaille back in the day.
you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's such a lovely brand.
It's such a beautiful brand. And then recently, like about 3 years now, I've been using Susanna Kaufman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she is incredible as well. Like her products are so rich.
Yeah.
Like I love the body butter. I love her scrubs as well.
Yeah.
But
Do you like baths?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
like on a Sunday I could spend like 5 hours in my after
So
I've done all that
relaxing.
cooking. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be. I mean, I literally redid my bathroom just so that I can have
Oh,
like a
wow.
spa like experience.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a treat. That sounds so good.
Yeah, so I have to bring my books there to read, put my candles on.
What's your
But,
favourite
yeah,
candle?
Of course, I have my own awakening
Oh, yeah, of
candle.
course.
But I do like some diptyque candles too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some really good ones as well.
I
Can't
am
go
an
wrong.
official diptyque
Diptyque.
fangirl.
Yeah, I bet.
it's-
They have some great ones.
Let's say when you're getting ready, what for you is like, you can't leave the house until you've done X. What is it?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think for me, I always think I have to take one thing off. I always look in the mirror and I think,
Ooh.
oh, maybe that earring doesn't work. Let's take that off, or take down the, eyeshadow, because I love doing this really dark eyes, like in the evenings.
Yeah.
But I'm a very minimalist person when it comes to makeup anyway. Skincare is more important to me than actually applying makeup. But I do still like eyeliner and mascara and blushes. But I always feel like I have to take one thing off.
One thing off.
Yeah.
Very kind of Coco
I was
Chanel.
about to say,
esque.
Coco Chanel. Yeah, it's very chic.
But it's not a pearl necklace. It's like, take off a lipstick.
Yeah. So I'll put it on and then I'll be like, I think I'm going out with it. And then
Take it
as soon
off.
as I'm back, I'll take it off because I'm like, actually, I prefer it to be nude.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The same thing happened. Like when I was in my early 20s, red lipstick all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
And then I got older, I was like, I'm not into this anymore. And now I might do one maybe once a month.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it just feels like too much on my face
Yeah.
now. It's
I like going through like makeup or hair eras.
what era are you in now?
Oh, what era am I in now? I am in I would say quite natural makeup. I think my ideal is to wear nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
But honestly,
Yeah.
as long as my eyebrows are done and my
Yeah.
hair looks
Your
ve-
eyebrows
It's
are
amazing, actually. It's so
fantastic.
full.
Oh my god, thank you.
They're
Rhea.
very full.
Like probably the best
you.
eyebrows I've seen in quite a while.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
Where do you go to
really
get them
nice.
done?
Nowhere. I do them myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't
Wow,
really
that's
trust
so good.
because my shape. I'm lucky that the shape is quite good, so I
yeah,
just
very good.
use my number one thing is clear mascara. Not even brow gel.
yeah.
Natural
Clear
collection.
mascara.
£2 from Boots. Clear
Really?
mascara. Better than any brow gel that I've tried.
Wow.
That's my number
I
one
used
thing.
to- oh my God, I
Clear
used to have that
mascara
exact-
on your,
Yes.
Yeah.
On the brows, yeah.
wow.
Just a little bit of eyebrow pencil and then just use that.
That's a
and-
very good idea.
And it's so
Good tip.
affordable. So yeah, eyebrows, hair looking vaguely done-ish, not too wild, and that's it. Where I feel like your era right now is like glowy skin.
Yeah, she's got the best. She's looking so good. You're looking
Honestly.
amazing.
It's,
the hair on point.
I don't
The
know.
hair
I
does look
feel
on
like
point.
Yeah.
I don't know what my one thing would probably be blusher. You know, like I can go without.
But you got
mascara.
amazing brows too. Look how
Yeah, you
full
have,
they
yeah.
are.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
my dad. So I've got my dad's eyebrows.
Amazing.
So I've got brow gel on, but clear, and I
Yeah.
love a clear mascara like Sherri.
Yeah.
But for me, blusher just changes on any skin tone. You know, whether you're
Yes.
super fair or kind of beautiful, rich skin, the right tone just brings that life.
It
And
does,
I would
for
actually
sure.
before it was about bronzer.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, no,
Yeah,
blush,
the power of blush.
power
Yeah,
of blush. And there's so many good ones out there.
There
now
so
are.
many.
that actually cater for all. I remember back in the day, but like one of my white friends, I'll try this blush on. I'm like, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
Because
Do you know who I'm
not for my
actually
tone.
loving is this Gucci Westman. Oh my God.
We spoke
The
about this
range.
last time.
We
Oh,
did,
I need
yeah.
to get some, like, literally, I was like, Jesus Christ, this stuff is so good.
It's
The quality is there.
amazing.
Someone gave me a mascara and, like, I was like, this is just, like, out of this
Yeah.
world. It's so well made. And it's, like, it's not sticky. It's just...
And it's the most beautiful packaging. Like the quality
so
is just
amazing.
next level.
Yeah. Really nice gift as well.
Yes, it was a nice self-gift.
Yeah.
Nice gift, nice self-gift, to be quite honest. Are there any products, hair products, like not in your line that you still rate?
Do you know what I love? I used to use this Paul Mitchell
Oh, yeah.
foam pomade.
Oh,
Like I love that product. I've
interesting.
used it for maybe over 30 years.
What does it do?
It's like a mousse. So
Okay,
you can
yeah.
set the hair. It has like a really glossy finish. It's not crunchy.
I love a mousse.
Yeah.
In terms of your involvement with like the education of hair, is that something that you're what do you
Yeah, so
how
I'm
do you
actually
do
in the
that?
middle of also writing a course that I've got 2 students that are coming from Yorkshire. They're like, we want to
Wow.
wait for you to teach us. But mine is really different. It's not this sort of, it's kind of more personal and just taking it right to the beginning, even how you talk to your clients. Because I feel like a lot of people want to now style hair and that, but okay, you don't have much relationship with a black person. How do you then start doing their hair? So you've got to teach them all of like.
Oh, are they white? They're
Yes.
white. Wow.
Yeah. So I feel like, communication skills is so important, the kind of language you use, because there's nothing worse than a black person walking into your store and then you call everyone in the salon, come and look at her hair. It's not, it's not a freak show, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone's touching you. And
Yeah.
so my whole thing, I spent like an hour, the first part of the course is just teaching you how to welcome someone. How do you even advertise for people to know that you do cater for? So what you put in the window, how you word it. So all of that before
so
we even get to
that's
the
so
actual, because learning, I think doing hair it's a fiber, isn't it? It's like sewing, it's fabric. Anyone can, but how am I with you? How can I get you to be relaxed and comfortable with me? For me to be able to say this works and this doesn't. So that's
as well,
the
especially
bit.
when it's from kind of pockets around the UK where there's not a high
like
black
out of
population,
London,
and then you've then got someone that's so you're already kind of one of one,
Yeah.
and then going to a hairdresser where it's then a white hairdresser.
That's it.
How am I going to trust you?
Yes.
To know what to do when I
Yeah.
can't
Even
even
down
buy
to the
stuff.
music you play. Like it has to be,
So
you
true.
know, and even like I always say, what about starting to read books? Because to do black hair, you need to know black history. It's not just this hair that's sat in front of you. There's been so much trauma within this one person that's sat there. And there's like a bit of a gap of like, do I trust her? And even you're feeling a type of way, they're feeling a type of way. So how do you bring that harmony? So first and foremost, you need to learn how to communicate.
Yes.
Because communicate, learn a bit about their culture, let them feel that warmth. Then they'll be able to come back the next time. Then it gets better because I feel like even with my stylist and my team, like when they first come in, they're all a bit like shaking. The more they relax and the more they get to know, the more their work is coming out good. I'm like, wow, did you do that blow dry? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you do that styling? But it takes that time, that journey, that process.
So you've obviously got your own brand, which, as we said, is doing very well. And obviously we know that there's a lot of challenges that black founders face, lack of funding, lack of access to funding and education. But there are so many black brands thriving.
Yes,
So I want to ask both of you the question in terms of black brands that you're loving and supporting right now, who is on your kind of wish list or who is in your bathroom even potentially?
Who's in my bathroom? There's quite a few actually. Like I worked a lot with Tracy Ellis Ross, so I have a lot of pattern products.
Love.
Yeah, I even have the tools. Like,
oh, nice.
Yeah, she's always sending me, there's a new this, a new that. I'm like, wow, you've got a lot of stuff. But so I'm liking that a lot. There's also Ruka. They're always sending me stuff as well. They got like about
Have you tried anything?
No, I haven't.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And they just in Selfridges, right? Yeah. So they're really doing well with their brand.
So Ruka have
The hair extensions,
and clip-ins, but then they've also got a hair
Wet products as well,
perfume.
yeah.
The hair perfume, and that's what I like. Is I love a black brand that's not saying we're only for black people. That hair perfume, for me, everybody should buy it. It's like 30 quid. Whenever I use it, people in the office are like, how come you smell so good? And it is that. And I know a lot of, because there's no oiliness, you know, it's just literally fragrance. Beautiful. So yeah, and I like that they're kind of black British. I think that's really important as well. Sherri, for you, any black-owned brands that are on your kind of wish list?
Two. So I really love Dizziac.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've used it. It's called Trepadora.
Yes,
which is I think US based.
Yeah.
But one of the best products that they have is actually it's like a towel for your hair, and it's a really lovely just cotton towel in like a rectangular shape. Because I often just use like cotton t-shirts. I don't want to use a towel for frizziness. I've actually made a product for that.
So it's like a microfiber towel.
Exactly, but specifically for curly textured hair. And I thought it's so nice that they have a product exactly for that need that I really needed. So that's a really nice brand. And their hair care as well is good. Really nice.
Amazing.
What about you, Rhea? Any?
I think so. I mean, I agree with you in terms, I love Pattern, I love Ricca, I love Dizziac, and I also love Loretta, the founder. I'm really interested in, I like it when people, regardless of whether they're black or women, infiltrate areas that are traditionally like white male in particular. So I love, there's loads of new kind of fragrance brands coming out now that are black owned, which is traditionally such a heavily white male space. So there is a really cool brand from Sweden called Unifrom. And they do these fragrance like roller balls. They're very cool. Obviously, we've got Maya Nije, who's been also kind of black British. And we've got her in Liberty. She's got loads of great retailers. Another brand we're about to launch soon, actually, called Love Stories, I believe. Might have to actually double check the name.
I know this brand.
They're just...
Is it beautiful?
So cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
The
sounds
most
nice.
beautiful vessels. There's a really big fragrance group, I want to say, that are launching something very soon, which is kind of... again, has like ethnic backgrounds and founders as part of the group. And it's exciting that people are kind of taking things seriously. Finally, because it is hard. And I think, you know, it's really hard for brands to understand when like it's business and therefore sometimes the business, like the retailer has to make really tough decisions, or sometimes again, like people don't know basic things about business. They're in so much of a rush to just launch that then they forget about the supply chain or the boring finance numbers. And it's like, that's the crux of a business. The crux isn't the product. The crux is their margin. Can you make profit? Like, are you going to be able to survive? Is your cash flow there? And those aren't sexy and those aren't fun. And I think that there's a lot of work to do in terms of access to education, like the fundamentals of business education to be the next level of empowerment for black-owned businesses, which, I mean, I can't say anything, but I am working on something with work.
Exciting.
Yeah, so I think that's the next step. You know, is like, really how do we empower future entrepreneurs, especially those from marginalised backgrounds, because that's what I want. You know, you can give someone cash, but if they don't know how to spend the cash, then they're still going to fail. So it's like, beyond cash, what can we do? So I have to get you involved in that, actually.
I'd love to.
We will get you involved.
So
we'll get you involved.
That's so the kind of thing that I love doing.
Well, thank you both so much for a very nourishing conversation, I've got to say. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. So it's a goodbye from me, Rhea Cartwright, and goodbye again from Sherri and Charlotte.
Thank you, Rhea. That was so nice.